Hey friends, let's paint my tulip beginning watercolor class that's in my 22-page Traceable download. Let's paint it together. Hey, I'm sitting at my computer. You can see my studio in the background. I've got a bunch of big canvases back there. But to be on point, I'm going to share my screen with you and show you how to find my traceables. So I'm clicking a couple buttons here. Oh, let's close that. So where you would go, you would click classes, and this is my beginning watercolor class page. I used to teach them in person, and then right just below the big orange beginning watercolor classes, you click on the traceables and it takes you to the traceable page. So that's how you find it. It's 22-page PDF file. There are 8 classes that you can use the traceables for. There's 8 traceables. They have photo steps. There's a couple classes they didn't have photo steps for, which is the bookmarks. You can see there towards the bottom left. The butterflies, which is really fun. That's a fun video. All 3 of these are videos. And then the tips and tricks video. And then this big video is just a thank you for all your support because it means so much to me. Okay, guys, let's get to painting. Okay, I'm gonna adjust a couple lights here. I don't know if that helps. Maybe. I've got the tulips onto my watercolor paper. This is a watercolor pad. I've shown it in previous videos. If you want to know how to use the traceables, I printed it off of the PDF file I have, and then I scribbled graphite on the back. Graphite's good with watercolor. I use charcoal and chalk pastel for acrylic painting. You can see my bookmarks video so that you can see the step-by-step of how to use a traceable. What else do I want to tell you? I'm going to lighten up the lines here. I like using a kneaded eraser. You just pull it and it sort of gets the graphite into the eraser. This one's getting old. Here's one brand, Generals. They're like $1, depending on what size you buy, they're around $1. I think it's about time to break out the new one. Some watercolor artists think you shouldn't have any graphite lines, and quite a few artists leave them in. Or they'll add ink lines, you know, make it a little bit more of a mixed media. But I might leave, I'm looking at the camera, I might leave these a little darker just so you can see them. Oh, and I used a 6B pencil to scribble on the back just because it's softer. But you could just use, I don't know, I think they call this a technical pencil. You could use whatever you have on hand, a school pencil. And you could also just use a regular eraser. I just like lightening them up. Okay. I'm gonna peek at my, yeah, this eraser's getting kind of old. It doesn't look that dirty when I pull it out, but I think it's just old and it's losing its stick. For those of you old enough, or maybe it's still around, it's kind of like Silly Putty. I used to love Silly Putty. Stretch it out and you'd lift up the color on the Sunday comics. Post in the comments if you guys remember that. Are you old enough to remember when? Okay, how does that look? I think you can still kind of see it. So I'm gonna paint this different than I did because there are photo steps in the PDF file. So I'm gonna paint this one a little different for fun. And you know what? I don't have my paints out. I'll be right back. All right, I'm gonna use my Angora watercolors. I got them at Blick. Gosh, I can't remember. I think they were $15. I use them for my beginning watercolor class because I don't want students to have to spend a lot of money, and they're quite nice. They're really heavily pigmented, smooth colors. So you never know. Sometimes price makes a difference and sometimes it doesn't. And then you can tell I used the lid for a mixing pan. And then I also use, these are Cotman. I also use Winsor Newton watercolors in a tube. And then you can get a paint tray and they'll keep. I like it. This one has a plastic cover, keep the dust off of it. I'm just gonna use these guys. Let's see if you can see them. Okay, and the one thing I wanted to say about the traceables is I really like teaching beginning watercolor because people get nervous. They don't have any drawing skills and they painting is more fun for them in the beginning. So the Traceable takes the pressure off of knowing how to paint. So I'm just putting some clean water down. I'm gonna go over my pencil line because I'm gonna trim this out. This is a 5x6 in the PDF file that I have online. You could print it out larger, print it out smaller, use a photo editing program or something that you have on your computer and crop it. So I don't know if all this will stay wet. It's kind of hot in my studio and I've got a ceiling fan going. So that's both good and bad. I mean, if you want things to dry quicker, that's good. If you don't, I might need to turn the fan off. We'll see. You can always re-wet it. We'll see what happens. And I doubt you can see. I can't see. So a lot of times I'll lift up the pad to see where the shine is, to see where it's wet. That's something you guys can do at home. And I might lift it up to let the color run. That might be kind of fun, now that I just said that. If you don't have a watercolor pad, which I love the pads, you just take the piece of watercolor paper and tape it down on all sides. You can use masking tape. Artist tape's a little more forgiving. Okay, I think I got it all. So I want to do, I don't know, I'll just play with some color. So I'm just putting a little water in there and wake them up. I'm not sure exactly what colors I'm going to use. Ooh, actually purple and orange could be fun. Purple and yellow, those are complements. Are we going to have pink tulips? I don't know. All right, I think we're going to do a dark background, so then we'll do the tulips light and then it'll pop. And I'm pretty sure I did a purple and blue background on the one and on the photo steps in the PDF. Let's put down some paint. Put down a little more water. And you can always go back over it too and make it darker after it dries. But since I'm going to salt, I want to get a decent amount of color in there. Oh, I just realized I was talking quieter. When I think I talk quieter, when I start paying attention to the art stuff and not the teaching stuff. So put in the comments where you live. I would love to know. Even if it's just, you know, if you don't feel like you want to share your exact location, you can just put your state or even just put your country. There's not, you know, no pressure. But I love it when you guys comment and we can connect. Oh, I just got a little color in there where I don't want it. You know what? Let's put a little blue in there. So I'm cleaning out my brush. Oh, this is a number 14 Utrecht. I believe it came in a little 4-pack for watercolor. Actually, I don't have this. Let's do the periwinkle. I don't know why I keep cleaning off my brush. Oh, because I got purple on it. I just did it by instinct. All these years of painting. Well, that's one thing nice about these traceables too, is you don't have to come, like if you would be nervous about coming to one of my classes, you can do it at home, do it on your schedule, you know, no pressure, just have fun. I might throw in a little, that periwinkle wasn't, I always like my corners darker to help frame the painting. Keep the eye more in the middle. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop playing because I want to put some salt down. Oh, I didn't really get down in here. Okay. I'm just looking that I'm over the edges because I'm gonna trim it out. So I'll make sure the color, if you're a graphic designer or you know about printing, you know, it bleeds, it goes past the edges and then they trim it out. Okay. One thing about watercolors, you kind of want to just stop even when you want to keep going. All right, so I just have table salt. I don't know how old this is. Looks like it's for camping or traveling. It's dusty. I think I'm gonna put it in my hand. Oh yeah, see, a lot came out. Glad I did that. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, you can kind of see it. I've got it really wet. You'll figure out as you do the salt technique how much wet, how dry you want it. And then you still never know. You can't totally control. You can't totally control how it's going to turn out. Oh, sorry, I just bumped my tripod. I'm using a new tripod so I don't wiggle my art table. And then I bumped the tripod. So I'm going to let this dry and then we'll come back. Okay, it's pretty dry. You can tell because the paper, I mean, you can't tell maybe, but my paper was quite buckled because I had a lot of water on there. And a lot of salt. Here, maybe. It's kind of fun what it does. And you can experiment with less water, less salt. Maybe salt just down at the bottom, or maybe salt just at the top, like it's little particles in the air, little bugs. And then what you do when it's dry enough, you just rub, is that wiggly? Well, it's not too bad. See if the camera's wiggling, just rub the salt off. And then watercolors dry lighter, acrylics dry darker. All right, you can see it's kind of pretty color salt. I would not eat it. Most of these pigments are safe, but some of them might still have some cadmium in them. I bet my yellow has some cadmium in them. There are cadmium-free paints out now. You can Google or search YouTube. I have not found a difference in them. I think they're so close. All right, I'm gonna go dump this in the garbage. Okay, I'm gonna show you a little trick. So here I went over my tulip a little bit, but that's okay. So I've got a wet brush, but here I kind of missed the edge of the tulips, but now it's gonna lighten it, but I can scrub, and it's also gonna get rid of the salt technique. I can scrub there, maybe you can see it. I'm picking up some of the paint color. If you wanted to clean up that edge, you could grab a little, I don't know if I grabbed a little, grab a little color. Just kind of helps it blend into the background a little bit. You could wait until you paint your tulips and see if you even need to do this, because you might not. Of course, now I'm gonna get a little bloom, which is technically a no-no. I'm just painting out some little white spots that were left. All right. So I think that turned out really fun. And you can always come back and make it darker. Oh, there's another light area. You can always come back and we can add another layer of color to make some sort of shadows or define some edges around these tulips. Oh, I did it quite a few times. And one thing I've said before is, like, what's so nice about painting living things is they are not perfect. Okay, I tend to get fussy. What color? I kind of want to make these a different color, but I'm also a little nervous about how it's going to turn out. Maybe we'll do the bright magenta, so it's sort of in the cooler color family rather than doing, well, the orange might pop. This is where you can always paint more if you're not sure just what you want to do. I think I'm going to put in a little shadow right there, and maybe put it in over here too. Maybe just fill all that in. I offloaded, oh, I don't know if you can see that, offload a little bit so it'll get lighter. Oh, I think that comes up to there. So I'm just kind of scrubbing out the background a little bit. Oh, I think I like the pink. All right. Just putting a little more water in there. I usually, when in doubt, have my light coming from this direction. And I do that a lot because when I license my art, and then if I put different images together, unless I flip it on the computer, the light source is coming from the same direction. Which can help a little bit. So I'm just trying to scrub out that purple a little bit. What I can do is come back with some darker purple to define that edge a little better. This brush is a little wimpy for scrubbing. I've got an angle brush here that I use for lettering sometimes, but it's shorter, so it should be, oh, it's pretty wimpy too. Yeah, I don't know that that's any better. I thought it might be a little better for scrubbing. It's really not. It's not really lightening up for me. I think what I might do is try to remember to come back with a darker edge. Oh, that's a lot more pink than I wanted. So then all I did was clean my brush, offload the pink, grab some water, just kind of lighten it up. So I'm sort of just following the shape of my tulip. I'm really not sure what I'm gonna do, but I do know I want it darker over here. And then we can always come back and add layers. Oh, and normally you probably should paint left if you're right-handed like I am. Start with this one and then work left to right. Do as I say, not as I do. Did your mom ever say that? Mine never did, but I've been tempted as a mom sometimes to, you know, to say that. I just offloaded my brush a little bit so that it gets lighter. Let's see, my light's coming from here, so I put the paint down where I think it's going to be darkest for me. And I'm kind of scrubbing. You don't have to scrub. I must just be in a scrubby mood today. Oh, and that comes all the way up there. think I want it dark in there. Grab some water. Got too much water, get it off my brush. So this is off topic, but for some reason it popped into my head. How many of you have pets? I paint pet portraits and I really like animals. I love seeing photos, even if I don't paint them, of people's pets. I think it's so fun. I just like seeing animals. I love their expressions. If you want to post those in the comments, that would be fun. Doesn't have much to do with tulips, but that would be really fun to see. All right, I think I'm gonna leave that one alone. When I'm thinking of it, I'm gonna come back, because this tulip's dried a little bit. Come back with a little bit of shadow. And I'm also trying to keep this simple, doable. Oh, this could make a cute birthday card, get well card. I'm gonna see. Oh, so now that's wet and I put my hand over it. Oh yeah, see, that works. I was a little worried about the pink covering that purple right there. But actually it's kind of nice now because you get a really dark pink without trying. So that's fun. I like it when that happens. So favorite daughter has been editing my videos for me and also been encouraging me to do more longer videos of my painting process, which I'm so glad she did. I didn't think anybody would want to watch them because to me I love painting them, but it's a little bit like watching golf on TV. If you're not a golf fan, I would think it's just so boring to watch paint dry. But they've been quite popular on YouTube. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, this one's gonna be a long one for her to edit. It's gonna take us a little while to upload too. I'll have to give her a heads up. I think that's where I was going with that thought. You can tell I don't necessarily mix painting with talking. It's not something I normally do. I'm trying to think what I want to do there. It's kind of pretty. So I picked up a little bit of paint. I'm gonna pick up some water. What's nice about the videos, you can stop it, or if you like the version I did in the Traceable PDF, you can look at the photo steps. Well, that might be kind of fun to do. And now I'm messing with it too much. Let's put a little more in there and leave it alone. Oop. Oh, I kind of like that. I should probably do that over here. Okay, I think maybe we'll mess with this one a little more. I kind of want to put some, even though it's not quite dry, I want to put some of those, I can tell I keep going back there. Put some dots of color in there. Actually, this one probably should have, sorry guys, when I paint and I think I stop talking, this one should have some dots of color maybe over there on the darker side. On the dark side. All right, let's leave those alone and get the stems in. Oh, one thing I've been meaning to mention in all my videos, you could paint this circus colors, but what's more important is the values, the lights, the darks. So right now, having more lights on the tulips keeps our eyes in here and less off all that texture and color in the background. You can paint any color you want. It's more the values. So usually there's a light, middle, and a dark when you're home free. Or you can, I've seen artists that do very, I want to say neutral paintings. That's not the word I'm looking for. Very similar in value paintings. And that can be kind of cool too. Like if you're looking for a misty night scene or something. But in general, it's not, you know what? I wouldn't normally use this, but maybe I'm gonna use this lime green. After I just said you can use sort of circusy colors for fun if you want to. You can use whatever you want. So I think I'm just gonna put some green in there. I might like that. Did I grab a different green there? Or is it just picking up, it might just be picking up some of the purple. Now what I'm gonna do, some watercolor painters, you don't think you should do this at all. But I don't really see the paint growing in the water anymore. But I can tell it's still wet because it's buckled. I'm gonna hair dry it and come right back. Alrighty, it's drier. I don't know if you can tell when I touch it, but it's definitely drier. You'll know when you're painting, you'll feel and see the buckles. Buckles? Yeah, the paper buckles. So I think what I want to do now is when I look in my camera to see the video, those tulips are kind of pretty. We might want to just leave them alone, or maybe I want a little more shading. But let's go back to our purple, and I think I end up using this blue. I'll use that blue too, didn't I? Okay, let's take a little purple, not a ton of water. And let's, well, that's not very dark. Let's maybe just give it a little bit of an edge. There we go. So that's a lot of water too. I think that would be a Bob Ross happy accident. And then if you want, you can kind of take some water and tap it out a little bit on a little softer edge. I just noticed that my stem isn't quite going to my pencil line, so I'm just scrubbing it out. Got a little loosey with the purple across the bottom there. That's all right. When you explain it to our teacher later, just tell them you wanted to, on purpose, fade it out before it crossed the edge, or something like that. They're gonna know. Okay. Oh, I think I kind of like that. I think I like that. I think I want a little here. I might want a little, oh, that's almost too light. So I just grabbed a little more paint. Just keep grabbing paint. So I'm not sure how dark I want that. It's making me a little nervous. Because it's already dark pink there. So you know what? I'm gonna go back and lighten that. So I'm just painting little circles to kind of blend it back out to where it was. I'm not sure if I like that, but it might be fine. You don't have to show every edge, or define every edge would be a better word. I'm also just trying to get some more, since it dries lighter, getting a little more depth in color, a little darker. You could do it on both sides too. I like that. Ooh, that got really dark. So as my paintbrush is running out of paint, I went over to the left side. I just kind of offloaded some of the paint and got some water. Do that again. And I'm not sure I like that. Add a little paint in there. I'm gonna look at my camera. Oh, that gives it a little more pop. Alrighty. Cleaning my brush off. Wiping it on the paper towel. I broke my fingernail chalking. If you haven't watched my chalk videos on YouTube, they're cute, they're fun, they're quick. I had a little girl walk by. She was walking with her dad. I suppose she's 4 or 5, and I guess I won't say what because I haven't posted it yet, I won't say what the current chalk art was on my driveway, but she got so excited and it was so cute and I got to see it. I was just finishing up and going in the house. Like, that made my day. And I saw them come by again the next day. I think she wanted to come by to see if it was still there. That's the whole point of doing it. It's to brighten everybody's day, hopefully. So I'm just defining the edge of that stem a little bit. Of course, I'm really off. My pencil line's right there. So I'm really kind of off where I'm going to trim it. Well, and if for those of you who have bought, or in the future when I sell them by an anagram, this is how I do it. And then I trim it out. Except for I don't paint the background as much, because I want the splatters to show. We could splatter this, but I don't know if it would add much with all that salt I have in the background. I've got a poppy anagram video you can watch for splatters. I also show splatters. Oh, look. I wasn't paying attention when I was when I was talking. I think we'll just leave that alone. Shoot, which video has splatters now? I'm trying to think. Oh, pretty sure the bookmark one does. That also shows how to do a traceable. I think that shows you how to do everything. Plus there's the tips and tricks video too for more ideas. I think I need to leave that alone. I can lighten it up later. I can't. I've been trying to fix it while I talk and it's not working right now. All right, I kind of want to darken that edge right there. But maybe a little water. And maybe a little of that blue. Okay, that's pretty dark. So I offloaded the paint. Oh yeah, I like that. But I don't really need it there. I need it more here. And I'm just doing like little circles to try and help it look like it blends in. And that pulls out that tip a little better, which I like. So that's negative painting. When you paint the background rather than the image, that's negative painting. But it has a deep, that color has a lot of pigment in it. I've got a 1:30 meeting, so I may let this dry here in a few minutes. I gotta keep an eye on my watch. I suppose you can't see me. I'm assuming you could see me look at my watch. I forget where the camera's pointed. What do you guys think? I think that might be a winner chicken dinner. Yay, I like it. I get excited about the little things. Ooh, and that kind of, it's a little bit more teal, where this is a little bit more navy. It's a nice little touch. We should bring some of that teal. I want to kind of put it here, but I don't want to, I want to make sure your eye stays in the painting. I'm going to go for it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and then we can paint it again, and then we'll do better. I think it works. Oh, I'm in a squirrely mood today because now I want to say cool beans. I really like that. Sometimes you shouldn't overthink it. You should go with what it's what feels right. But since I'm teaching, I'm definitely overthinking. You guys can totally paint this one. And you don't have to be this fussy. I'm just having fun now. Plus, I think sometimes watching what somebody else does gives you ideas. Because I also don't want to get rid of all the salt texture, which that kind of happens when you go back over it. There. So I've kind of got bing, 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 1, 2, 3. And I have 3. I like that. I have 3 tulips. I think we need to do a little bit more of that kind of thing. Let's go back to the purple. Oh, and you can turn this. Oh, here, maybe I will turn it. You can turn this so it's easier for you to work on. I'm looking at that edge. Whoop. Huh. I can feel I'm picking up paint, but I'm not actually getting paint. There we go. And you can mix colors. I think it's easier if you're new to painting to paint straight out of the pan or the tube, because it's one less thing to think about. And sometimes you really want, I can't remember my traceable and I threw it away. I can't remember what this tulip does here. I think we'll make it go down there. Okay, made a decision. So clean my brush a little bit. Oh, I don't know if I need to do anything more. That looks pretty good. Okay, is there another edge we want? And I want to turn it around to look at it. Oops, sorry. I still bumped stuff. I bumped the arm that's holding my phone videoing. But at least now when I wiggle my art table, it doesn't wiggle so much. So I'm learning. Give me feedback. If there's anything that bugs you, I'm trying to remember to talk louder. That kind of stuff. Let me know. I just got quiet there. Let me know. Someday I'll have a bunch of fancy camera equipment. That'll be fun. I'll have like light, you know, those light ring things. Have a super cool big studio. What else do we want on the wish list? I'll get to meet all of you. Have coffee with you. It won't be a pandemic. That's kind of neat how that pops. I like. All right, I want to kind of go back to the stems for some reason. Got a little buckling. I don't know if I'm going to be able to lighten him. I've really scrubbed the crud out of that. Now that I've done that, all right, let's try this. I was just seeing how wet it is. We can still define it though. And maybe that's all we need to do. My voice is a little rough today. So even though I've already done this, I kind of wrecked it. So I'll come back and do it again. There, at least now it's defined a little bit better. Okay. Oh, you know what, guys? I'm gonna have to come back. We're not too far from being done though. See you soon. Hi guys, I'm back. So my 1:30 meeting was with my dad. We had a Zoom call, which is so nice. He lives in another town, not too far from me, but it's so nice that we can get on there, see each other through video, talk. I'm also mentioning it because he watches my videos. So we'll see if he watches this far through. Hey Dad, I'll wave at you. I'm gonna darken this just a little bit more. I don't know that I need to, but it did lighten on me as it dried. Grab a little water. Plus I kind of want this corner right here to show. Oop, now I just lightened it quite a bit. But I think we're done. I mean, there's not a lot more to do to this one. Other than to keep playing. And I'm starting to wonder how long my video is getting to be. Should we splatter it? It doesn't really, oh, you know what? I might actually put a, trying to get that a little darker in there. I might put a little more pink on this one. A little more shading. I don't know if I need it. How do you guys like listening to me think out loud? Maybe we'll grab a little light pink. Which you don't really need, it just came in my pan set. Oh, I know what I kind of want to do. I think I like the white streaks in there. Some tulips actually have that white streak. Do we want to play with these stems a little bit? See, they kind of already have some shading. And really, the dark side should have been over on this side, not over on this side. But since I've kind of, we could say that's a shadow from the actual tulip, rather than from the light source coming this way. So maybe just give it a little bit more. Yeah, to me, I'd rather have the shading on this side. But since I've got some purple and some other issues going on, and then we can kind of make this stem a little bigger. Now, wasn't that kind of neat? Straighten it out too. Should we play a little bit with magic lighting and put this one on this side? It's not actually an art term, I just made that up right now, magic lighting. Oh, that gives it some depth though, doesn't it? I think that was worth it. I might get in trouble here. Gonna soften that a little bit. All right, now I'm looking at, see, are we done? If you paint this, I would love, love, love to see what you come up with, what colors you use. If you have any struggles, I can't respond to every question, but I certainly will try to respond to most of them, or put them in the comments, because I always look at the comments. You could ask your question there. There, I wanted that to pop out a little more, so I made it darker. As you can see, you can just kind of keep playing and playing and playing. Oops, I don't have it. Color must be a little dry there. I wasn't picking up any color. There we go. All right, let's splatter and call it done. Now you can splatter. I'm cleaning my brush off there. You could splatter with this guy. You don't have to have, oh, maybe I should just do that. I usually splatter with this one because it's longer, it holds more paint, it's wigglier. Let's just splatter with this one. A lot of people will buy a brush like this because it's easier to control. It's easier to learn to use. Okay, so what color is gonna show? Should we splatter with some, let's see if this color shows. So I put some water in it, just kind of scrubbing it. And the closer I hold it to the paper, the less my splatters will fly. The bit higher up I hold it, the more the splatters will fly. And since I don't want to get it all over, I do have a protected area, but I don't want to get it all over. I'm gonna hold it closer. Oh, I'm getting big ones. And you never know what size you're gonna get. Oh, I kind of like that. Okay, guys. I'll turn the camera around and say goodbye. I think I do that every time. I was gonna turn the camera around and say goodbye, and I thought, well, maybe if I pick it up, you can see it a little bit better. Try and hold it. All right, now I'll say goodbye. Okay, quick goodbye here. Thanks for downloading the Traceable. Show me what you paint if you want. Tell your friends about them. Art hugs, and hopefully we'll chat through social media soon. Bye.